One of the ways that we fit in all those fabulous living books for science is through morning time. I learned about morning time, well, it used to be called circle time, from Kendra Fletcher. But I learned more about morning time from today's guest, Pam Barnhill, and so I asked her to come on the Tips for Homeschool Science show and share a little bit about morning time with you all today. Hi, I'm Paige Hudson, and you're listening to the Tips for Homeschool Science show, where we're breaking down the lofty ideals of science into building blocks you can use in your homeschool. Please help me welcome to the Tips for Homeschool Science show, Pam Barnhill. She's the queen of morning time and homeschool organization. Her messages of better together and consistent homeschooling are improving homeschools everywhere. She homeschools her 3 children, plus she speaks at conferences and provides the consistent homeschooling encouragement we all need. Welcome, Pam, to the podcast.
Thanks so much, Paige, for having me. It's great to be here.
I'm so glad you came on. I have spent years researching morning time. It's been a real life-changing thing for our homeschool, as far as with 8-year gap between our kids, to have that ability to connect together as a family. Morning time has provided that for us. But I wanted to ask you, how would you explain morning time? What is morning time to you?
Morning time is so many things to me, but honestly, it really is just the best part of our school day. And so if I have to describe it in one word, it's like, okay, best part of our school day, which I guess is 2 words, but oh well. And it's really a time when your entire family can come together and you can all learn together. So, like you mentioned, this is a great time of connection for
Mm-hmm.
your family, especially if you have kids who are farther apart in age. But it's also a time of great efficiency for your family, because if you have a lot of children, or you are like me, where I only have 3, but they're very close together in age, we're able to do so much together, and I'm able to teach them together during that morning time. So you have the connection, you have the efficiency, and then perhaps my favorite thing about morning time is it gives you this huge homeschool win right at the
Mm-hmm.
beginning of your school day. And I
Yeah.
tell people it doesn't have to be early in the morning, but it is a great way to get a bunch of things checked off a list without
Yeah.
feeling like you're railroading it over your children. You're able to
Yeah.
focus on the relationships while you do it.
Yeah, I 100% agree. We found that morning time really helps us kind of set the tone for our day, and starting that day with, for lack of a better phrase, a quick win. Like you said, it's really, really beneficial. But so I found morning time, or the phrase morning time, through your blog, actually. How did you find out about morning time?
So I found out about morning time from Cindy Rollins, and
Hmm.
she is like the mama of morning time, is what I call her. She did morning time with her kids for 28 years. So
Wow.
over, like, not one child, but over the course
Yeah,
of
yeah.
all of her children, she did morning time for 28 years in her homeschool, and she was influencing some moms in her sphere who were contemporaries of mine. So Brandy Vinsel and Misty Winkler and Sarah McKenzie.
Hmm.
And I was kind of like in that little group and started doing morning time too when they were doing morning time. And that was where I learned about it from. So, yeah, and it just kind of spreads out from there.
Yeah, well, that sounds like a really great person to learn about morning time from. So, what does morning time look like in your house?
Right now, I say we have the world's most boring morning time because because I have 3 teenagers. I have one who's 13, one who's 15, and one who's 17. And all we do is read aloud. And that's really all we're doing. We do still do a little bit of memory work, though they finally this year have reached the point where they've started complaining about the memory work. And so I've backed off on it some, and we
Yeah.
learn one new piece and we review one old piece. But for the most part, we are reading history together. We're reading literature together. We're doing some current events. Right now, we're doing one of Dave Ramsey's financial courses for
Hmm.
teens. So we're watching those videos. So that right now is what we're doing in our morning time. And then I got so bored with it, as far as like we used to do so much more exciting stuff in our morning time. I brought sea shanties back. And so we started learning Roll the Old Chariot Along or A Drop of Nelson's Blood.
Hmm.
We just started that one last week. And so I brought that back. But yeah, we just read together and talk together. And, today we watched a video on the Russian Revolution.
Oh, neat.
And we just, yeah, that's the kind of stuff we're doing.
Yeah, as they get older, it's not as Pinterest worthy, is it?
Exactly.
It's still important to have that time and the connection time with them. So, um, now, this is the Tips for Homeschool Science show. So I have to ask you, how do you feel morning time can help us with science specifically?
Yes, very much so. So we love adding science books and living books to our morning time. Last year, we were studying chemistry and we read some books like Napoleon's Buttons. We didn't read
Hmm.
every chapter in that book, and I would highly caveat like previewing those chapters, but
Yeah.
we did read a lot of those chapters in our
Hmm.
morning time. And so just reading out loud. And this year we read a biography of Louis Pasteur in our
Hmm.
morning time. And so it gives us a great place to read some of those books and talk about them together. And so we've really enjoyed reading and doing that kind of stuff. And then when the kids were younger, we did more nature study in our
Hmm.
morning time. We don't do it quite so much now that they're older. They tend to do their nature journal pages by themselves. But when they were little, we would bring in objects and like do object lessons or watch different nature videos or draw in our nature journal or something like that.
Oh, neat. Yeah. Sometimes we both live in the further south where it's hot and muggy pretty much like most of the year. So sometimes nature
Yeah.
study is much better if you just bring it inside and enjoy it from the air conditioning, right?
I I 100% agree. People say, "Oh, Charlotte Mason said you should have been outside like 4 hours a day." And I'm like, "Charlotte Mason
Mm,
never lived in South Alabama."
yeah.
So,
Charlotte Mason did not get attacked by mosquitoes. Yeah. Yeah. So
every time she went outside, yeah.
yeah. We do a lot of that too, bring it inside and look at it from the indoors, or we do a lot of nature study actually reverse in the winter rather than in the summer because it's nicer out. But yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what we found too, that morning time really allowed the time to fit in those living books, whether that's for science or history or things like that. We read Mystery of the Periodic Table last year, and it was great to share that and have those discussions and take that break to kind of like you said, set the tone for the day. Um, we really enjoyed it. So
Yeah.
I learned about morning time, most of it. I got to give you a shameless plug. Better Together. This is a great book. It's on my shelf for
Oh,
homeschoolers. I
fun.
recommend it all the time, about doing morning time with your kids and doing that, like setting the tone for your day. So tell us more about how you help people do morning time.
Well, we do have the book Better Together, which kind of it lays out a do-it-yourself kind of version of morning time. So, what it is, why you would want to do it, and how you would go about setting up your own. We also have another book called Gather, which is a photo book of 9 different families doing morning time in their home. So you really get a good
Oh,
look at
neat.
how it can be different from family
Hmm.
to family.
Yeah.
Um, and then if you're looking for help, if you're like, oh, I really love this idea, but there's no way in the world that I could plan all of this out, we have a
Hmm.
membership called the Your Morning Basket Plus membership that has over 60 different sets of morning time plans where we've planned it out for you. And then we also have the Your Morning Basket podcast, which is a free resource if you
Hmm.
like podcasts, which you probably do if you're listening to this one, where we have over 125 episodes all about
Wow.
morning time.
Yeah, this there's a lot of great resources there. If people were to go to one place to find out more about you, where would you send them?
I would totally send them to pambarnhill.com.
There you go. So, well, I really, really appreciate you coming on and sharing a little bit about a little glimpse of morning time with our listeners at the Tips for Homeschool Science show. And I would really suggest you guys check out, if you want to learn more about morning time, get resources for morning time, check out Pam's website. And thank you so much for coming on today.
Thanks,
Okay.
Paige.
Thanks for listening to Season 10 of the Tips for Homeschool Science Show, which is sponsored by our company, Elemental Science. At Elemental Science, we have several series of award-winning programs, including a series with living books to help you teach science. Sassafras Science Adventures will help you enjoy a journey as you learn about science. The newest installment of the Sassafras Science series is coming out in April of 2023. This volume will be a journey through the periodic table. It's all about chemistry, which is my personal favorite subject. Head over to elementalscience.com to learn more about the Sassafras Science Adventures and see how we can help you teach science at home.